Well, it is a real challenge, keeping the schools open while keeping students, staff, and teachers safe. And I have to say, Chris, it's very stressful for parents, too.
Oh, I can only imagine. You have two little ones as well. And here to help us all out is Dr. Lisa Hoang. She is a pediatrician with Providence Mission Heritage Medical Group. So, doctor, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Chris and Serene.
All right, so first question. A lot of schools, they're reopened today. When LAUSD students return next week, they have to show proof of a negative COVID test. So that's a start. What else should schools be doing to stay safe given the latest surge in cases that we've been seeing?
Making sure that all their teachers and staff are vaccinated. That's another step that they can do. Enforcing the masking, both especially indoors, and if outdoors they can space out the children for eating, that would be great. Otherwise, encouraging masking outdoors unless they're eating, and when they're eating, spacing them out if possible. Also enforcing the sick policy. If they are sick, they need to be out. If they are sick, they need to be tested before they return to school. So those are some of the things that the schools can do.
And doctor, even with those precautions that you mentioned, some parents, of course, are still worried about their kids going back to school with Omicron raging. What is your advice to those parents? What can they be doing at home on their end?
Yes, I'm in the same boat. I have young children as well, so it is worrisome sending our kids back to school. The best thing we can do for our kids is make sure that we vaccinate them when they're eligible. Vaccines have been shown to be effective and safe for the children to receive if they're eligible. To protect them against severe disease and to protect them against Omicron and COVID virus in general and the complications of it. So I would recommend making sure your child is vaccinated. Parents can also make sure that they have a mask that fits well and a mask that they're able to put on and take off themselves. So those are some of the things that parents can do, and then also monitor for any symptoms. If your child is sick, please do not send them to school. Have them evaluated, talk to your pediatrician, and get them tested.
Yeah, and doctor, we're seeing more children getting COVID now. The big question is, are the majority of these cases mild or severe?
The majority of them are mild. However, kids can get severe illness from COVID. We've seen that with the Delta variant. With Omicron, it still remains to be seen how severe kids can get. But in general, they are having mild disease, though we are seeing a spike and a surge in cases for sure.
And doctor, I'm going to ask you a question that I personally would like to know the answer to, but just in speaking to a lot of other parents out there, I know they would like this information as well. I'll share with you that my son had COVID earlier this month. He tested positive, very mild symptoms, thank goodness. But when should he be getting the vaccine? Because he is now eligible to get that vaccine. So how long should he wait before getting it?
So he can get it now. He can get it as soon as he's out of isolation and feeling better. However, there are some studies that do show that he may have some protection after his illness. Though if he can get the vaccine, I would still get the vaccine. So if it's been a few weeks and he's feeling well, go ahead and get it. There's no contraindication to getting the vaccine after an illness. I would say the only contraindication is if he was severely ill and he did receive special treatment for COVID illness in the hospital, then maybe we have to wait. But if it was just mild symptoms, like you said, he can go ahead and get the vaccine.
Okay.
Yeah, and also, the Omicron surge is expected to get worse. Do you think it could push some schools into remote learning again, at least temporarily? I know at least one private school that's doing, Zoom lessons, at least for the first 2 weeks.
Yes, it's absolutely possible. And part of it has to do with the amount of time that kids are in isolation, teachers in isolation, kids in quarantine, teachers in quarantine. So it is always possible that we may have to go back into virtual learning. And I hope the schools, I know the schools are actually have some contingency plans for those. So it's always possible. And I would say for us parents and also for the students to just kind of mentally prepare that that's always a possibility. But the priority is to make sure that the kids get back to school in a safe manner.
All right, Dr. Hoang, thank you so much for sharing your insight and expertise with us. We really appreciate it, and we wish you a healthy new year. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Thank you.